Hey guys, I'm Dillon Coates and welcome to The Coasty Show. Today we're gonna talk about a movie that came out this past weekend called 8th Grade. Wait a sec. Before we do that though, I need to say something to one of the stars of the other movie that came out this past weekend. Give me a sec. Here we go. Okay, buddy. Sorry. But I'm not talking about your movie today. I'm sorry that I didn't see it. There's nothing to say. Look at this bastard. Okay, just get back in the box. Okay? I have nothing to say to you. No more. Go away. Scumbag. Anyway, today we're talking about the movie 8th Grade. This is written and directed by Bo Burnham, and this is his directorial debut. And he does a really great job in this movie. This movie's interesting because kids in 8th grade, you don't see movies about them too often. Usually if you're doing a movie about school, it's high school. Or, yeah, pretty much high school or college. Those are the two times in a kid's life that really gets covered. 8th grade does get covered too much, and this movie kind of shows you why, but in a very good way. I think the reason movies like this don't happen too often is because no one really wants to remember 8th grade. It's not the best time in anyone's life, and if it is, it kinda sucks. The movie's about a girl named Kayla, played by Elsie Fisher, who does an amazing job in this movie. It's one of those performances where you forget she's acting. It's so good. It plays like a documentary. A lot of that is because of her. She's nervous. She talks like a kid in grade 8 would actually talk. Like, yeah. What I just did. She says like every 3 words. She's really uncomfortable. She doesn't talk a lot. She's like most people in 8th grade who aren't comfortable in their own skin. So the movie covers how, her life is her last week of grade 8, and you just see that she wants to make friends. She wants to put herself out there and talk to people, but it's too hard for her to do that. Again, that's a pretty bad age to be at. So she's at school, she doesn't talk to anyone really, and she comes home and makes really awkward YouTube videos that nobody watches. Yes, I get the irony. I'll tell you this, being in 8th grade in 2018 today looks way worse than it did when I was in grade 8. It wasn't too long ago for me. I was in grade 8 2011 to 2012, so that's kind of no time in the grand scheme of things. And it wasn't too different, I guess. Like, I knew a few kids who had cell phones. They were little flip phones, but still cell phones. Instagram and Snapchat, Facebook, I think they were around then, but it wasn't as mainstream as it is today. And that's also what this movie nails really well. The social media interactions that go on with kids at that age, and how tough it is to have that in your life, especially at that age, because you want followers, you want people to like your picture or Snapchat you all the time. You want that. When you get older, you kind of know enough to not really care about stuff like that too much, but at that age, really all you care about is acceptance, and social media just makes it a lot harder when you're not accepted to avoid knowing that you're not accepted. This movie also says something really interesting about youth culture, because it kind of shows that the generation this girl is in doesn't really have any defining pop culture symbols of its own, because there's a scene where Kayla is scrolling through her phone and going on the internet all night, and she sees pictures of like Harry Potter. There's an article about who actually killed Tupac. She's doing a survey on what's your favorite Disney movie, and they're all movies from like the 90s, like Mary Poppins from the 60s. That wouldn't be her era. None of those things were her era, so it just kind of shows that the generation she's in, and sure, the one I'm in, why not, doesn't really have any defining characteristics of its own. So again, that's another thing that's really tough about being in this age in 2018. Elsie Fisher as the main girl gives a really solid performance. You don't know she's acting at all. The opening scene of the movie is her doing one of her YouTube videos. I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Burnham just said to her, okay, improvise this part, make it as awkward as possible, go. because it comes off so, like, you don't want to say it's natural because you can tell she's very awkward on camera, but how awkward she is, that's what's very natural about it. She says, hey, it's impression time, here we go. Like, I'm gonna talk about how to be yourself, and like, you know, like being yourself, like it's hard to do, but like when you come out and be yourself, like it's like it makes life like better, you know, like it makes it much better. There's your Coates Show impression of the day. Thank you. She delivers that scene much better than I just did. So there you go, disclaimer on that. Okay, besides her, the other standout performance for me is her dad, played by Josh Hamilton. He's a single parent, her mom left. That is actually mentioned in the movie. I kind of wish they left that just implied, but it is mentioned. He's a single parent, his daughter's in grade 8 going into high school. You can tell he doesn't really know how to connect with her at this age, especially because they're opposite genders. I think if he had a son at that age, it might be a little easier, just because, you know, girls and guys are built differently, and at that age especially, the girls are going through things that guys don't understand, and you can see him trying to connect with her. And there's one really great scene at about the halfway point of the movie where they're sitting at a campfire talking. It's just really emotional and a very well acted scene. They have really good chemistry together, Josh Hamilton and Elsie Fisher. How real it is to what being in 8th grade today would be like is amazing. There are some slight exaggerations, maybe like there's one scene where this girl Kayla is talking to two of the popular girls in her school, and they don't even look up from their phones at all when she's trying to talk to them. I mean, that does happen. That seemed maybe a little exaggerated, but again, it's to show how snobby they are and how they think they're way better than them. So that was fun. This movie just captures that discomfort of being someone who's not popular in school. There's a scene where Kayla gets invited to the most popular girl in the grade's birthday party. Even though this girl didn't want her to come, her mom invited her, so she came. And the scene where she's walking out into the swimming pool, and everyone's in the pool going crazy. They're all friends with each other, and Kayla like knows nobody because she doesn't talk to anybody. You can just feel the discomfort in that scene. It's perfect. It works perfectly. The other part where there's discomfort, I'm not gonna spoil this, but it's very uncomfortable. Kayla's in a situation that really shouldn't be happening to her, especially considering who she's with in the scene. It's just a really tense scene to watch, but the tension is earned, it works. I don't want to say it's good because the scene is very uncomfortable, but it's done well, I'll say that. And it just really shows how uncomfortable Kayla is in her own skin, because it's a situation that Kayla obviously doesn't want to be in, but she's not really strong enough to say no to it, to outright say no to it. She's kind of struggling, like, I don't really want to, you know, that kind of thing. She does really great. The entire movie she does great. Last thing I'll say, Bo Burnham's direction is amazing in this. Cinematography is really well done. The scene where the popular girl's mother is trying to tell Kayla to come to the birthday party. In most movies, it would focus on the mother's face because she's the one talking, but no, in this one, it blurs out her face and just focuses on the girl, the popular girl. The fact that she's not looking Kayla in the eye wants nothing to do with her, because that's really the important character in that scene. So that part was really well done. That was pretty unique too. I haven't seen too many movies that do that. Another example is after the really uncomfortable part I talked about a minute ago, Kayla comes back to her house, flustered and shaken up, uncomfortable. She runs up to her room, there's tense music, it's really loud, and The camera's all shaky. Her dad comes into a room, comforts her, you don't hear anything. The camera's kept at a far away angle, but it's done really well. It just makes you feel the emotion of that moment all the more. So, a really emotional movie, really well done movie. It captures what it's like to be in 8th grade pretty much perfectly. Like, again, wanting to be popular, how you're looking forward to high school, but at the same time, you kind of like being a kid. You're kind of at that awkward stage, and they're all scenes that focus on what a possible high school life for Keller might be like too, so I like that. Out of 10, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Solid movie, really well done. Bo Burnham, this is a good debut. This is a very good debut from this guy. Good starring role for Elsie Fisher. I don't think she's done too much, I'm guessing. She's done a few things, but not too much. Charles Hamilton does a great job. It's a really mostly unknown cast, and I think that it's in the movie's favor that it's an unknown cast. This is one of those movies where you don't want big stars. So yeah, 8 out of 10, great movie. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.